If you fall behind, run faster and persevere. Never give up, never surrender, and you will reach the finish line. Not everyone starts at the same line, and not everyone maintains their advantage forever. Falling behind often breeds feelings of inferiority, anxiety, and even the urge to stop because you think you've already lost. But in reality, being slower doesn't mean failure. It's just a signal that you need to change your pace and way of moving forward. Life is like a long-distance race with flat stretches, bumpy paths, times when you're surrounded by others, and moments when you're left alone with your ragged breaths. When you realize you're trailing behind, the important thing isn't to look back at how far others have gone, but to bend down and tighten your own shoelaces. Run faster doesn't just mean increasing speed, but also focusing more, being more determined, and making the most of every remaining moment. Persevere is the mental endurance that keeps you from falling when your legs are weary and your faith is tested. The finish line is always open to those who refuse to give up. Never surrendering doesn't mean you don't get tired, but that even when tired, you keep moving forward like a mountain climber in the fog, unable to see the peak ahead, but still believing that each step is taking them higher. It's that persistence that shortens the distance between being left behind and reaching success, fueling strength for those who are slowing down midway. Initial speed doesn't determine the final outcome. It's the attitude throughout the journey. When you dare to speed up, dare to persevere, and dare to say no to giving up, then even if you start late or stumble along the way, you will still reach the destination through your own effort and resilience. Don't compare your life to others because you don't understand what they've gone through to achieve their success today. People are too quick to look at others' achievements to judge themselves. We often only see the external glamour, the radiant smiles, the enviable positions, the seemingly perfect lives. But behind what is visible lies a long journey, full of sweat, tears, and even unspoken wounds. Comparing without understanding is like looking at a mountain peak and blaming yourself for being at the base, forgetting that everyone starts at different heights. Each life is a unique story with starting points, challenges, and paces that no one shares exactly. Some move fast because they're well prepared. Others go slow because they carry invisible burdens. When we compare ourselves to others, we're unwittingly denying our own efforts and what they've had to sacrifice. It's like envying a tall tree's lush canopy without knowing how deeply its roots have burrowed into the earth, enduring countless seasons of rain and sun to stand firm today. Comparing too much easily robs people of inner peace. It makes us hasty, insecure, or envious, while each person is walking a path suited to their own lessons. Others' success doesn't make our failures bigger, nor does it shorten the journey we must take. What we need to do isn't to look sideways, but to look back at ourselves from yesterday to see that we've progressed, even if just a little. Learn to respect your own journey and that of others. When you stop comparing, you start focusing on developing yourself, living at your own rhythm, and cherishing every small step forward. After all, life isn't a race to win or lose, but a journey to understand yourself, be patient with yourself, and grow in your own way. No one cares how hard you've tried. They only mock you when you fail. On the path of effort, most sweat, sleepless nights, and internal struggles happen in silence. No stage lights, no applause, no one standing by to acknowledge Only when you stumble does attention pour in. But, sadly, it's often judgmental. Stares and cold laughter. People are naturally drawn more to results than processes. They see the moment of failure and rush to conclusions, unaware of how many times you've risen before that fall. Like spectators, seeing a bird fall from the sky without realizing how many times it flapped against headwinds to fly high. Indifference to effort and harshness toward failure sometimes make people feel lonely and doubt their own worth. But in those circumstances, people learn an important lesson. Not every effort needs recognition, and not every mocking laugh deserves attention. If you live only to please others' gazes, you'll soon exhaust yourself. True effort is for yourself, for your dreams, and for the path you've chosen. Failure, even if mocked, is an indispensable part of moving forward. When you understand that your value doesn't lie in external praise or criticism, you won't fear failure anymore. Because after all, the one who knows best how hard you've tried is you. And as long as you don't give up, today's mocking laughs will fade away, making room for the silence of those who once doubted as you continue forward on your own 2 feet. No one succeeds without experiencing failure. The difference is they never give up. A small seed containing an entire forest of meaning about the human journey. Failure, ultimately, isn't the end, but the necessary scratches on the path to maturity. It's like a sudden downpour, soaking a traveler's clothes, making them cold and uncomfortable. But it's that rain that nourishes the soil, allowing seeds to sprout. Each fall is a chance to reflect on oneself, recognize limits, learn to adjust, and become stronger. Successful people aren't those who've never tasted bitterness, but those who rise after it, brush off their knees, and continue with even more determined eyes. The biggest difference between those who achieve their dreams and those who miss them isn't talent or circumstances, but attitude toward failure. Some see failure as a wall blocking the way, others as a step to climb over. Like a mountain climber, the higher you go, the stronger the winds and steeper the paths. But the view widens. If you stop midway from fatigue, you'll only see fog. If you persist, you'll see the whole sky. Allow yourself to err, to hurt, but don't allow yourself to give up. Because beyond each overcome, failure awaits a better version of yourself, calmer, deeper, and full of faith in tomorrow. Persistent pursuit of goals is the key to success. Until you stop trying, you never fail affirms solidly, like the steady heartbeat of someone persistently walking a long road. Success isn't a sudden flash, but the result of countless days of quiet effort. When faith sometimes wavers, but willpower refuses to let go. Persistence is like water flowing over rock, not noisy or rushed, but through endurance, it can wear down even the hardest stones. In pursuing goals, there will be times when people feel stuck or even slipping backward. But in truth, each sluggish step is still bringing you closer to what you desire. Failure only truly appears when you stop trying, when you close the door to hope and accept defeat. As long as you continue, even with one small step a day, every difficulty is just a temporary challenge, like someone kindling fire in the dark. As long as the flame doesn't extinguish, darkness can never fully win. Ignite faith in the value of endurance. It reminds that no one is defeated by circumstances, only by giving up on themselves. Persistence doesn't shorten the road, but it steadies the feet. It doesn't erase difficulties, but makes the heart strong enough to face them. And in that persistence, people grow day by day, learning to trust themselves, until one day, looking back, realizing success arrived, quietly but deservedly, from efforts that never ceased. Change won't come if we wait for others or another time. We are the change we seek. In life, we often tend to wait for better circumstances, for someone to pave the way, for a suitable moment to start. But time keeps flowing, and that waiting is often just a subtle excuse to delay our own responsibility, like standing on a riverbank, hoping the water parts itself. We forget that to cross, we must step in and swim. True change always starts from within. No one can live our life for us, nor change our reality if we stand still. Change doesn't have to be grand at first. Sometimes it's a small decision, a different thought, a daring action today instead of tomorrow, like a seed in the soil. If it only waits for sun and wind without sprouting itself, it remains a seed forever. Only by reaching up does it become a green tree. It hands back control of our lives, reminding that we're not victims of circumstances, but creators of our future. When we understand we are the change, we stop blaming, stop fault-finding, and start acting. In that moment, transformation quietly begins. No need to wait for permission, no need for the perfect time, because the best moment for change is always now, where we're awake enough to step forward and brave enough to become a better version of ourselves. Everyone must grow up, whether they want to or not, so choose to grow up strongly. An irreversible law of life. Growth doesn't ask if you're ready. It comes with time, collisions, losses, and subtle changes. Some grow in peace, others mature in storms, but no one can stand still forever. Growth, thus, isn't a choice, but inevitable. The only thing we can choose is how we face it. Some mature with resentment, carrying bitterness and fatigue, letting old wounds become burdens that hold them back. But others choose to grow strongly, turning hurt into lessons, pressure into motivation. They understand life doesn't promise fairness, but always offers chances to build resilience, like a young tree before strong winds. If it only complains about the storm, it breaks. If it learns to root deeper, it stands firm and grows sturdy. Strong growth doesn't mean no pain, but daring to face pain without letting it define you. It's when you learn to take responsibility for your choices, know when to be silent, be resilient when weak, and rise after falls. That strength is quiet, shown in continuing to live kindly, to strive even without applause. If you can't avoid growing up, choose to do it with a steadfast heart, because when you grow strongly, you don't just adapt to life, but learn to master it, step by step, with calm, resilience, and deep faith in yourself. As long as you have faith, you'll have hope and find the path to resolve any deadlock, a small ray of light glimmering in life's darkest moments when all paths seem closed. Faith isn't blind optimism, but a thin yet durable thread keeping you from despair. With faith, there's hope. And with hope, the mind never stops seeking escape, even if the path isn't clear yet. In deadlocks, the scariest isn't the hardship, but the moment you stop believing things can change. A deadlock is like standing in thick fog, vision obscured, causing confusion and hesitation. But with a small lamp of faith lit, you'll start seeing faint outlines of the road ahead. It may not be perfect or shortest, but enough to keep stepping, slowly but steadily. Faith is also inner strength, preventing surrender to adversity. Believing in yourself, you dare try new ways, adjust directions, and accept failure as part of finding solutions. Like water blocked by a large rock, it doesn't vanish, but patiently finds cracks to seep through. Continuing forward, people are the same. With faith, they'll always find ways to adapt and overcome. No deadlock is absolute when your heart hasn't abandoned hope. Faith doesn't erase difficulties instantly, but gives strength to face them with calmer, more resilient spirit. And from that faith, the path gradually appears, not because life suddenly eases, but because you've grown strong enough to see and walk your own road. Failure is the opportunity to begin again more intelligently. Failure often feels like a door closing, bringing loss, shame, or regret. But looking deeper calmly, you'll see it's not the end, but a necessary pause to reflect and reorient. Failure is like taking a wrong turn on a long journey. Though it costs time to backtrack, it helps understand the map better, avoid repeating mistakes, and choose wiser paths next time. Starting over after failure isn't returning empty-handed to the start, but setting off with richer baggage of experience and insight. Each stumble leaves a lesson, like marks etched on a tree trunk, silently marking growth over years. Those who turn failure into opportunity are brave enough to face mistakes, humble to learn, and clear-headed to change their ways. That greater intelligence comes not from books, but from real collisions, pain transformed into understanding. No experience is meaningless, even those seeming like collapses. When you no longer fear failure, you'll dare try, continue, and reinvent yourself. And from there, each restart isn't a sign of weakness, but proof of resilience, wisdom, and steadfast faith in your ability to rise. Don't let small failures stop your big dreams. In pursuing dreams, failure is inevitable, but often one small stumble is enough to make you doubt and abandon once burning aspirations. Small failures are like pebbles on the path. If you only focus on sore feet, you'll forget the vast sky waiting ahead. Dreams, conversely, are distant lighthouses, not for those who stop at light waves. In reality, small failures don't have power to destroy dreams. It's how we perceive them that decides. When we magnify failure's pain, it grows like a lengthening shadow at dusk, obscuring light ahead. But if viewed as brief tests on a long road, failure becomes a silent teacher pointing out weaknesses and needed changes. Like learning to write. Early pages full of cross-outs aren't proof of incompetence, but foundation for steadier script later. It encourages keeping vision large enough not to get trapped in minor obstacles. When dreams are big enough, failures shrink, and when steadfast enough, each fall is just a necessary step back to leap further. Don't let a few mistakes turn you from what you truly want. For big dreams need a courageous heart, one that steps over failure to keep believing, walking, and hoping.